Hello fellow Annihilators, I am the Annihilator, and welcome back to the amazing Anihazamoney recap. I don't have any preamble, except please subscribe and stuff, because I probably spent a lot of time on this. I can't say for sure, because I'm still writing the script. So, let's get into this. If you remember, in episode 10 we were getting obsidian to create an enchantment table, and to give some to everybody else. I have no idea what they did with it, because they never told me. We were also in the phase of there being subtitles that block half the screen, so sorry if the gameplay in the background has some nonsense on screen, because, surprisingly, I don't keep all of my raw footage months after I've already made the video. Anyway, I finished getting the obsidian, I tunneled back up to the surface, as usual, because I do not have a good memory, sense of direction, or brain really. I got some flowers for my plant pots in my house on the way back, and Mummy had a pretty pathway and bridge to my humble abode. I crafted my enchantment table, in a time-lapse of course. I haven't been calling out every single time-lapse, because otherwise we would be here for eons, so instead I think at the end I'm going to get Editor Me to count up all the time-lapses in these 10 episodes, because I'm curious and I can't be bothered to do it right now as of making this script. So I ventured upstairs on an epic mission with the Pirates of the Caribbean music playing, which I think personally is one of my favourite joke edits. I put my bookcases down, then went downstairs again, was sick, and then shared out my diamonds equally, which meant that I only had one. So I did what any sane person would do, and I made one of the best tools in the game, only trumped by the diamond hoe, a diamond shovel. I was going to go and kill some cows, but I decided I should probably take my horse, but my horse wouldn't move for some reason. But coming back wasn't entirely fruitless, because this hilarious sequence played out. My house. Why is everybody in?
What you doing?
Zam, out of my house. What did you steal?
I didn't steal anything. Sorry, I didn't click the button. I promise I didn't steal anything. Promise. I promise. Everything's still there.
What did you steal?
Everything's still there.
It's quite easy to organise it again and make it look like everything's still there, and I don't have time to go through every single thing. What did you steal? Okay. I believe you. That is probably one of my most favourite moments in the series. I went back out to finally kill some leather-clothed sacrifices. I did kill some of them, but then I was reeled back in by Mummy, who gave me some free leather. I was going to make a joke about communism, but I don't want to get struck down by the North Korean government. Mummy shared some leather with me. Sharing is perfectly fine. Anyway, I made more bookcases and put them upstairs with unsuitably epic music playing in the background. I then went back outside to split open some more meat sacks, 'cause yeehaw, I'm a cowboy and what's the prize without the glory of the hunt? I then found a horse that Mummy had tamed and unknowingly struck it down. Then I found two more horses, which were also Mummy's, which I also killed. I think Mummy was secretly taming a horse army to overthrow me, and that thought makes me feel better about mercilessly slaughtering 3 innocent horses. Well, it's not like I feel bad. I've basically destroyed the whole ecosystem in this plains biome. So, by now, I had enough leather, but what about sugarcane? I went off in search of water, and therefore sugarcane, and that is where I cut the episode. As I was plodding along, casually killing llamas, I saw a ravine, and inside it, a mob spawner. That's right, I've found like 5 mob spawners in the span of 3 or 4 episodes, which is absolutely insane luck. I didn't really get anything from it, so I guess it kind of evens it out. I then got out and found another village. It might have been one of the same ones that I'd found before, but like I said before, there is no storage in my head. I think I need to install some more RAM. After travelling what felt like 500 miles, and yes, I would walk 500 more, I found out that I had in fact gone in a bit of a circle, and I could see Zam's castle not very far away. So I went behind the castle instead in a semi-straight line, so that I definitely didn't loop back around. But I guess in the end I did, because I dived off a mountain and died, sending me all the way back to spawn. I felt hopeful that I could get back in the start, but then my hunger was dropping awfully low, and raw meat wasn't healing my health. Everything was going down and down and down, including my morale. But just when I had lost all hope, I found my stuff, which is good, because the last thing I wanted was to lose my beautiful shovel. So I made my way back, making a quite impressive jump if I do say so myself, along the way, and ended the episode and session, which means no more subtitles. Woo! In this episode, I got to say my intro for the first time in like 7 episodes, which felt good, but what wasn't good was that I had no plan for what I wanted to do whatsoever. So I pondered for like a full 2 minutes before I randomly decided that I wanted to create an auto sugarcane farm. So the first thing I needed for that was some pistons, which I needed wood for, so I went and chopped down trees. Obviously, what else would I do? So I made said pistons and found a random, pretty badly placed tiny pond and placed down the sugarcane. But for the redstoney bit of my contraption, I needed some nether quartz, and somehow I made it back with most of my limbs intact, which is always a win in my books. So I cobbled a few shoop-de-whoops out of 5 doodads and a plop doppler. Of course I needed a dectratron, and I couldn't forget the atomitricus. I put everything in a pomlutandadin pattern, and voila! I had made an automatic sugarcane farm. That was pretty much everything in that episode. Whew, those made-up names really took it out of me. So let's go on to a peaceful episode. I spent like 5 minutes making a balcony, which actually made my tower look quite nice, and stopped people saying that it looked like a penis. Well, not really, but it certainly made it look nice. I also sticked a diving board off of it, even though I would probably most definitely not use it. I made a room full of furnaces for some reason when I really didn't need any more than 4. Then I went to Zam's castle for 5 seconds for literally no reason, and finally I made a map, with much difficulty from Zam, well, being Zam, and with said map I went out into the wondrous wide world to find... I don't know. Honestly, most of the things I do in this series I could have not done with no consequence whatsoever. I didn't really get anything from the trip except a heart attack at the thought that I was well and truly lost. But I wasn't, so I went back home and went into the nether with Zam. Zam deserted me. It wasn't really a surprise because he is him. So I explored on my own and found a beautiful nether fortress not that far away. Shows what you can do without an annoying devil child shouting every 5 seconds. Wow, imagine what Mummy could get done on her own. I found 2 diamonds, but not much else except several more heart attacks and a few cases of like 7th degree burns. Actually no, I did get quite a few blaze rods, so that is a big plus. So yeah, I jumped my way back home and ended the episode. I started this session with me moving my bed and stuff upstairs so that I would actually use the balcony diving board, and also because I decided that I wanted the first floor to be a chest room. I put the furnace from downstairs in my furnace room, and I made a brewing stand and put it on the floor on one of my many stories. I could now create potions of invisibility, poison, floating, And what did I do with it, you may ask? Well, nothing. I basically forgot about it until episode 20. Well, actually, I didn't forget about it because I went on an adventure for the sole reason of getting sand, but soon after I set off, I forgot. It soon just became more about just discovering more of the map. Soon I came up against a big body of water, so I chopped down some trees and made a boat to sail the 7 seas. I did it to the music of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which was actually fitting for once. I found an ocean monument, which I will probably never find again, and which I probably don't want to find again. But I'd finally crossed the sea. So I said, oh, I need to do my best me impression here. I might as well be Christopher Columbus. Well, actually no, I said something more like, I might as well be, what's his name? Something Columbus, isn't it? Wow, I'm so great at history. In this episode, I did nothing but exactly what the title says. Disagreements and more pointless adventuring. Me and Zam were arguing for half the episode about whether we were going to make a new world when 1.17 drops, and the rest of the episode I was waiting for slimes to spawn in a swamp I'd found. But, of course, me being me, none did. So, yeah. Content! I finally came home this episode, and as if to make up for the boringness of last episode, I went straight into the nether, with my brand new diamond sword, which I had made from the diamonds that I had found in the very same fortress we were going to. Yes, that's right, I said we, because Zam came in, for realsies this time. It was all going great. Loot and blaze rods bleeding from every orifice I chopped off, until that fateful moment. there was a gap, a 1-block gap that you needed to jump over. I saw it, so I didn't fall in, but I might as well have done, because Zam did. I laughed at the time. Oh yes, I sure laughed, but little did I know what it would cause. Of course, the first consequence of Zam dying was that he stole from me and Mummy to get new things instead of mining and stuff, which wasn't too bad. I could live with a few less bars of iron. But when I was venturing back to the portal, I took a wrong turn and got my head incinerated, and that is not something I can live with. Of course, Zam was gleeful to see me die. He didn't see it as like 10 blaze rods and an hour's worth of adventuring down the drain. He saw it as merely revenge for me not warning him of the fateful gap. I wanted to get that diamond sword though, so I gathered a stone sword, a stone pickaxe, and a mostly broken golden helmet, and went into the nether once again. I asked Zam to escort me, but of course he didn't, because he is him. Of course, that plan quite literally went down in flames. I went again, this time with the hope that Zam would come with me, because he said he would. Of course he didn't, because, once again, he is him. I had an iron axe and a dream. But unfortunately, dreams don't fend off lava and sentient blocks of magma. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I was prepared to give up, but Zam had other ideas. Oh my fucking god, just thinking about it makes me want to go into the game right now and blow up his precious castle and steal every bloody block he owns. He stole my bed. Now that doesn't sound too bad, but it was night, and I was in a bad mood because I had just died half a dozen times. I looked in my chest, and it was like the game itself was taunting me. There was 2 bloody wool left. Mummy, however, very kindly gave me a bed. It was orange, which is the worst colour hands down. When I said as much, Zam somehow took offence to that, because he is him, and threw my bed into the nether. I wasn't really bothered though, because I knew that the 15-minute despawn timer would only start when I went into the nether. So I went to place my new orange bed in the tower, but of course Zam couldn't leave me be. He bloody well killed me and took the bed. Can you guess what he did with the bed? He threw it in the nether, of course. Zam was practically begging me to get the beds, and I knew I wasn't going to win this battle, so I went into the nether. He wanted me to die, but it's not like the beds had grown legs and walked off on their own, so I went in and got out, barely an inconvenience. Do you think Zam would let it stay that way? Of course fucking not! Seriously though, Zam, please do not do this again. Every time I watch this episode, I get very angry. Yeah, so he killed me again after I came back, but then he stopped killing me, which was quite surprising. He even gave me some stuff. It didn't make up for the torture I had been put through, but he certainly gave me stuff. Honestly, I should have killed him with the sword he gave me, but I didn't. This episode was basically just dealing with the aftermath of the last episode, going mining and making new stuff, you know. I also went to get sand to make potions because I had lost that when I died. So I smelted it, put a bunch of stuff in the bottles, and at the end we all drank a potion. I did a funky edit where it was all swirly and stuff, and that is where the episode session and 10 episodes concluded. So, this 10 episodes, I know this is completely unrelated, but why isn't there a word for 10 of something? I mean, we've got dozen, which is 12. How is 12 more important than 10? Anyway, these 10 episodes were definitely not the best, but hey, at least we had fun. Well, except for episode 19. Zam. So, if you want us to have fun, then don't forget to annihilate that like, share and subscribe button, and if you want to see more like this, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!
Actually, before you go, I said that I would count up all of the time lapses, so there was a grand total of 11 time lapses. Okay, goodbye now.